One. What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys today with some news from the OCG. The OCG's Forbidden Limited List has now been unveiled and will go into effect for the OCG July 1st of 2024. So there's a lot of massive changes to this list that, yeah, if you're playing in the OCG, either you're clapping or you're crying, and your wallet will forever be hurting. And it's crazy though, because I've been asking a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players before I made this video about exactly what's going on with particular cards, why they've been particularly hit. While some make sense, some others just don't. And with a lot of the stuff going on, I think a lot of people are going to be either happy to see some things get hit or question why other cards didn't get hit. And for cards that are coming back, I'm not surprised, but it took a little longer than what I expected. So, with that said, why don't we go through this list? So starting off is Catapult Turtle in Kazakh Coliseum, newly forbidden. In the newly limited, we have Performing Mage Plushfire with the Sarada, Magic Spectre Kirin, Beatrice, the Lady of the Eternal, SP Little Knight, Snake Eyes Ash, number 40, the Gimmick Puppet of Strings, Sangan Summoning, and Summon Limit. For the semi-limited section, we have Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Inferno, Redox, Dragon Ruler of Boulder, Tidal, the Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls, and Tempest, the Dragon Ruler of Storms. Yeah, all four Dragon Rulers are semi-limited in the OCG. For the rest of the OCG semi-limited cards to come are Spiral Quick Fix and Bonfire. For the unlimited section, these cards are no longer limited. We have Glow Up Bulb, Ebb, the World Chalice Justicar, Thunder Dragon Colossus, Predaplant Oro Scorpio, and Time Seal. So, all of these cards are going to be affected on the OCG and TCG Forbidden Limited List. Well, the OCG Forbidden Limited List at the start of July. So, while we go scroll back into this section and talk, because we're going to be talking, ladies and gentlemen. So, first off is the card Catapult Turtle. So, Catapult Turtle, for everybody who doesn't know, a lot of you new kids need to be informed about this. Catapult Turtle is a monster that came out back in what was it? Legend of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. You know, that reprinted set for the 20th anniversary that some of you new kids to the game are, being introduced to? Yeah, so this guy, Catapult Turtle, is being banned in the OCG because this card has the potential to do FTKs. And as for those who don't know, a lot of the cards that do a lot of tribute this monster or do certain action to inflict life points to your opponent, well, a lot of those cards get hit on the Forbidden Limited List because Konami wants to, in the OCG, likes fairness and value to their game, while the TCG is just money hungry. So, in terms, everybody's money hungry, but it was in terms of things that have been told to me that the OCG had to ban this particular card because of the fact it was going to create another FTK situation, and apparently the target at this time was the Galaxy Eye support coming out in Legendary Duelist Pack, Duelist of the Brilliance, and the Shining Brilliance. So it was like, oh, that makes sense, because Galaxy Eye's Photon Dragon has a lot of ways to summon various monsters, while the with the support of the Tachyon cards and going into all of that, popping them off with the Catapult Turtle, which I heard was just an easy free tribute, and that triggered some other things as well. It was time for them to give the X to Catapult Turtle. This is not the first time Catapult Turtle had some questionability of if it should be limited or forbidden. Because remember, at the start of the game, we had Magical Scientist FTK that included Catapult Turtle as one of the monsters to help with that. They ended up banning Magical Scientist because of how powerful Scientist had gotten with its ability, as well as the spell last will. Excuse me. So, it makes sense. Kazakh Coliseum is definitely here because they want to prevent that whole standalone solitaire play. And if you guys don't know, a lot of those cards in the OCG have been hit as well. Where cards like Final Countdown, No, Climate Countdown's still out. Oh, I'm thinking of self-destruct button. Self-destruct button, chain strike. You know, a lot of those cards that promote a lot of that style of play, where it's beat. You know, where it's stall, shut down, all of that. That had to be changed because it was creating a lot of issues for players, both TCG and OCG. I wouldn't be surprised if the TCG keeps this ban. But I definitely see now that the OCG was like, yeah, no, we can't make that mistake. We gotta hit it. Now, moving on to the limited section of this. One of the big stars here is Performer Pal Plushfire. If you guys don't know, Plushfire got an errata because the Animation Chronicles 2024 is set to come out in the OCG, and there's a lot of new Performer Pal monsters. So they were like, well, we have a Performer Pal. A Performer Mage monster. I'm sorry, Performer Mage cards coming out in that set. And there's a Performer Mage that's on the list that definitely can help us out. But how do we balance it out? Well, they eroded this monster to have heart once per turn on each of its abilities. So you can only use each of its effects once per turn. But mind you, it's those hard once per turn. So you can do each of those effects. But one of them you can get Plushfire. The other one tells you that you only do it once a turn, and it makes it specific for both of its effects. So because of this errata, it's not going to make Plushfire as broken as people think it's going to be, because Plushfire used to be broken as hell to where they had to ban Plushfire. But now with all this Performer Mage stuff coming out in the OCG, they definitely want to make sure that once it comes back to the from the OCG to TCG, that there's no problems vindicating that. Then we have Magic Spectre Kieran, who was also part of that infamous era of Yu-Gi-Oh! With Plushfire, where once Plushfire was out the picture, most of them were going into Performer Mage, or they were rocking a variation of Pendulum Magician, or Pendulum Pepe, whichever variation it was. Because of how chaotic those things were getting, they had to hit them as soon as they possibly could. Now they're bringing it back because we're back in the game. We're back in the game. They got a whole bunch of array of new cards for their archetypes, and now here we are. Let's unban them. I don't think Kieran is as broken as Kieran used to be, because one of the big things that definitely changed was the pendulum mechanic, and how you need to have link monsters to help you spread out a lot of that stuff. So having Kieran back is fine, but I think Kieran is one of the things that definitely should stay at 1. Beatrice, the Eternal Lady. I was actually quite shocked to see her on this list, but maybe it has something to do with Galaxy Eyes as well, and that's why they had to hit Beatrice, the Eternal Lady, because I do believe her ability is a Foolish Burial-esque ability, so it makes sense to hit her as soon as they possibly could before that creates a problem. Then we have SP Little Knight, who she creates her own shtick. And from what my understanding is with SP Little Knight is, because I'm in a TCG, and she's very, very expensive to obtain. Because she's a secret, and then she's a platinum secret rare. And she's very, very useful, and she's the reason why a majority of people's decks, especially their extra deck, cost like over $100. If she was to ever get reprinted, which I hope is soon, I would pick up one. But the thing about SP Little Knight is that probably because of how much of a chaos problem that she is, that's probably why they had to do what they had to. So it makes sense. Then we have the first hit to Snake Eye, which is probably one of the proper hits that should have been done, is Snake Eye's Ash. Very useful card for the Snake Eye spoil pile. Very good for the Snake Eye Fire King or Pure Snake Eye. And, you know, there's a lot of that in conjunction with things. And the OC is probably tired of it. Similar to the Gimmick Puppet situation, there was a Gimmick Puppet FTK, OTK that was going around as well. And that's why Gimmick Puppet the Strings was hit, because Gimmick Puppet the Strings, similar to Catapult Turtle, was just creating too many things, and they're like, yeah, no, we gotta limit this monster, and then maybe in the future, you know, unban it. But I don't think that's gonna be anytime soon either. I think either point it's gonna stay limited or eventually get banned because things can get hectic with it. The next card up is Sangan Summoning. Probably another one of those situations of cards that belong into either a particular archetype that did some shenanigans of stall out or limiting player playability, or it was just really annoying and it got to the point where, yeah, no, this card had to go. And since we're speaking of floodgates and cards that had to go, Summon Limit is now at 1 in the OCG. So if I'm not mistaken, in the OCG, excuse me, we have Snake Eye. We have, between TC and OCG, I believe all the major floodgate cards are now either limited or banned. So Vandy's Emptiness, Royal Oppression, Imperial Order are all on the Forbidden section. While Anti-Spell Fragrance, sorry about that, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Summon Limit, there could only be one. Those that match in Rivalry of Warlords are all at 1 because they just generated they were floodgates. Even though, yes, they were trap cards, but if you were going first, drew into them, or set up your deck to draw into them, and be able to place them on the field and protect them, that was pretty much it. You didn't have to worry about too much of it. You just had a lot of things that on your turn, you can pop them or get rid of them, and then continue on with your place, or just take advantage of them and use it to your ability. I'm still very tired. I was up recording last night. I still have to upload those things. So that's the limited section. For the semi-limited, Redox, Blaster, Tidal, and Tempest, which probably would have just fit into the whole Galaxy Eye shenanigans, because I wouldn't be surprised. And I think at a point now, I love the fact that we're going to have multiple Dragon Rulers, because I love the Dragon Rulers. I used to play Dragon Ruler. Was the main deck affordable with pieces? Because you got to remember, in the TCG, in the OCG, I don't think they ever expected for this set. Well, they ever expected a bunch of commons and rares to go as hard as they did. And they did. And they won Worlds. And then they shot up the extra deck completely. I think once we got into 2013, I wouldn't say 2013. Hell, I'd say let's go a little further back. Once we entered Synchro era, and the extra deck became a heavy part of the of it, I think that's when a lot of things changed in terms of how to really obtain cards and what deck building was at that point. During the format of Dragon Ruler, which of course it won Worlds, it was one of the highly seeked out decks from Lord of Tachyon Galaxy. You know, it was just a lot of stuff for it. And remember, it eventually got all 4 of the level 7s banned, and they had to bring back all the babies because now that the bigger ones are gone, these are not as much of a threat. Remember, they were all limited to a point. I think in the OCG and then the TCGs outright banned them because of how crazy of shenanigans were going on with them. So now that they're back at 2, I can still understand, the situation at hand and how they had to restrict things and keep things at bay. Do I think we'll eventually see all 3 Dragon Rulers at 3? Yeah. And do I think there'll be ways to abuse them? Oh, hell yeah. And, they can sequentially fill in that slot for Boss Monster as well. And even together support a deck themselves. I wouldn't be surprised if people are trying to build some variant of Dragon Ruler for the game right now, just to keep that situation together. Spiral Quick Fix, another monster that was part of a very broken deck that hasn't seen enough hits to where it can come back, but not come back too heavily so that they can still monitor how that goes. And Bonfire, this is another hit to Snake Eyes, Fire Kings, and all of those cards in between. Because I eventually, I'm going to call it now, by the time the next OCG list comes out, Bonfire is going to be at 1. is going to have the situation just like Rhoda, where they're going to eventually bring it back to multiples, and then when something else becomes extremely broken for that particular type, they're going to hit it again. Then we're going to move over to the unlimited section, which, excuse me, all I can say about unlimited is this. Their time for the ban list has come and gone. It's time for them to just go ahead, get unbanned, and everybody gets happy with them. I am very happy to see these cards come back. Particularly one is Glow Up Bulb, because I love me some Glow Up. Glow Up, Glow Up. So yeah, Ibs back, Glow Up Bulb. I'm sure Slim ever sees the TCG list where Colossus comes back, he's going to run to Colossus as soon as possible. Because he loved Thunder Dragon. I think he loved Thunder Dragon just as much as he loved GK. Yeah, there's my Slim X Symmetry drop right there. Alright. And, yeah, Oro Scorpio, Fusion Plant things, and Time Seal, which Time Seal, I'm shocked. But I'm not too shocked because you can play around Time Seal. We're in the game in the age of 2024 Yu-Gi-Oh! Where, okay, I don't draw, but here's the 14 cards that help me search. So, yeah, alright. With that said and done, my last bit of thoughts here is just awaiting the TCG Forbidden Limited List. And I possibly see them hitting Snake Eye. I possibly see them hitting a couple of Mer cards. Do I ever expect the TCG to unban anything? In my personal opinion, I do see some cards coming off, but what, I don't exactly know. I think Plush Fire would definitely be one of them if they're going ahead and go errata Plush Fire, and then that would be the announcement of hey, we're going to reprint Plush Fire, and like maybe their Animation Chronicles. What is our variant of Animation Chronicles? I can't remember shit, but I wouldn't be surprised if that variation comes out at the end of the year and then they unban Plush Fire and would have reprinted Plush Fire with that errata. Then, or probably 2024 tens. That could be a good place there too. What else? Would they probably hits the Kazakh Coliseum? We've already had some limit hit. Not too many things I can think of on the top of my head. Honestly, I mean, TCG always screams don't unban Max C, and I'm like, fuck it, unban Max C so we can see the chaos ensue. If the OCG can handle Max C, the TCG can handle Max C. And, I mean, maybe for me, just being a little spoiled little brat, I guess I'd say some more Bird of Sovereignty. I mean, the time has come. You deal with your problems with fire. Let the Winged Beast have their Winged Beast place. And besides, you've already been the Berry Sexual Stormwind. Ain't nothing to be worried about. Some more? Okay, sure. Tri-Brigade has fallen out. You've already made that appearance. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts there on the OCG's Forbidden Limited List. I'm sure if you have your own, and you can leave those in the comment section below. And with that said, you guys want to wrap this up before I start yawning through the video. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have anything you'd like to contribute to this video and, the OCG's Forbidden Limited List, leave that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps me out tremendously. You can hit the notification bell to be informed when I upload my content to the channel. My socials are in the description box below. And with that said, HPJ signing out. Take care.